Just a thought on this Tuesday afternoon. Capitalism cannot exist without the bodies. That's all. That's all conservatives really care about is bodies. Period. Connect the dots. They're against abortion. Why? Because when people abort babies, those babies don't grow up to work. And if capitalists can't step on the backs of babies and the backs of humans, capitalism will cease to exist. None of this has anything to do with Christianity like they say it. That's just a smokescreen. I know this sounds like a conspiracy theory, but I mean, just look at it. Just watch. They just want the bodies. They're against the LGBTQ community. Why? Because for the most part, cis gay men and cis gay women cannot procreate. So they put out these lies that it's against religion and it's against God to be, with the same gender. And you know what? Nothing in the Bible says anything about that. The real reason why they're against it is because they cannot procreate physically. It's all about the bodies. It's weird thinking about it that way, but that's literally what it is. And mostly, white bodies, but yes, about the bodies. Capitalism can't sustain itself. There's whole articles talking about how there aren't enough people in the workforce at the moment. The Great Resignation, where millions upon millions of people just quit because they weren't being treated correctly, and this pandemic kind of, shed the light on the fact that people weren't earning a livable wage, and because of that, they're like, you know what? I know my worth. I know what I can do. I'm just gonna quit and find the job another way. So now all these companies are finding it extremely difficult to hire people because people don't want to be hired for, $9, $10 an hour working 60, 70 hours a week just to be able to live in society and on this planet. So they're having to do things that we've been trying to, force them to do for years. They're having to pay more. They're having to give benefits right off the bat in order to entice people to work there. Capitalism is going to fall. People are realizing, especially after the pandemic, that life is way too short to work somewhere where they're inconsiderate of you on this planet, when all they care about is you showing up and working. They don't care about your family. They don't care about your mental health or your physical health, as long as you show up to work and are making millions and millions of dollars for the CEOs and the vice presidents and the presidents of the corporation, then they don't care. And a lot of these companies used to be able to just hire and fire people off the bat, but because now there ain't enough people showing up to be hired, they're having to rethink that. Well, we need to try to work with this person to try to keep them to stay, because nobody is putting in applications for our jobs anymore. So now you got to work with this person. Now, because this person has been sick, damn near dead, and has to call in for work all the time, oh, now you're concerned. No. A few years ago, you weren't concerned. A few years ago, you missed 3 days of work, you're fired, and they could get anybody they want to come work because that's their mentality. Oh, I'll just fire this person and hire somebody else. Hire a bunch of part-time people. That's the game. A lot of companies just want to hire part-time people because they don't have to pay benefits. You only have to pay benefits for if you're working over, a certain amount of hours. And if you're working part-time, you don't get benefits. And you become a dime a dozen. Think about it. It's all about the bodies. It's just a thought.